Hello developers, welcome back to Laravel Vue Media. Today we are going to tackle a very essential skill which is very necessary to upgrade your Vue.js skills to the next level, which is TypeScript. Have you ever spent hours in finding an issue which was just caused by passing a simple number instead of number we passed a string to a variable, and it's very frustrating in a professional environment, and it becomes a big problem for us in spending a number of hours to find this small issue. So here in JavaScript we rush to TypeScript. TypeScript came to save us from such mistakes. Let's suppose we are working on an application in JavaScript, and one of our variable is expecting a number, a user's age, which must be a number. So I have these two bottles. You can see one is JavaScript simple, and the second one is TypeScript with a label of only water. So when I'm going to pass the age of a user, no problem. We are going just to pass, let's suppose I'm passing this water to this bottle, which is the age of user. I can pour that water into it, no problem. JavaScript does not complain, no issue. Okay, but what about if I'm going to pass a stone into it, anything else? Let's suppose this is a stone. I'm passing this into JavaScript, no problem. JavaScript is flexible, no issue from JavaScript side. Okay, and then that can lead to big problems. We were expecting user's age with a number, but we can get a string, anything, and a function in our application which was expecting a number for calculation, but it got string, and our whole application can destroy. So here comes the TypeScript. Okay, you can see it is labeled with only water. So if I go back to get that jug and pour water into it, no problem. But if I go to try to put stone into it, I can't, because that only water label is stopping me. I can't do that. Okay, this is TypeScript. TypeScript came here and it's saving us from these type of mistakes. Okay, so in our project we will do all these steps practically one by one. So let's move to the coding area. So you might be thinking that we need to install TypeScript. No. So TypeScript is not a different language, it's a superset of JavaScript. Basically we strongly type each and everything. If your application have with support, then you don't need to do anything. You just have to convert your JS file to .ts extension. Okay, we can do TypeScripting in many ways, but the best and easy one is to define an interface. So let's move to our coding area to convert our JS file to TypeScript. So here is our composable, which is known as use modules.js. We will convert it to TypeScript. Before converting it, let me show you the resource what we are getting from the backend for this modules composable. Let me check it. It's module resource. Okay, so we are getting these things, these variables in our modules use modules composable, which are id, name, permission, count, title, and value. Okay, so let's move there. First of all, I will just copy it and paste it here. Basically I have created a new branch which is shift from JS to TS. Okay, so I will rename this to TS and let's do it. Okay, this is our TypeScript file now. So first of all, we have to define our blueprint for these modules. What data is coming from the backend to our this front end in Vue.js application. So first of all, we have to define our interface, which will be the blueprint for our data. Okay, that is export interface. We are going to define an interface and its name will be module, and it will have an ID, and the ID will be a number. Okay, then we will have a name for the module, and it will be a string. Okay, and then we will have permission counts, and it will be a number. Okay, and then we have title, and title will be a string, and then we will have value, and value will be string as well. Okay, so our interface is defined. Now here our functions are starting. We have some constants from Vue.js. We will convert all these constants to use the TypeScript this interface from TypeScript. So to use it, we will use the ref type from Vue.js. Okay, that is, you can see it is being imported here at the top. Now we will pass, as all modules is an array, so we will pass our module here in this way, and it's basically an array, so we can say that this is an array. Okay, that is converted to strict type of TypeScript. So now we have another variable which is current editing module. Again, it will be object of module. Either it will be a module or it can be null. So again, we are going to use the ref type, and it will be a module, or it can be null. That is done. So our next constant is loading, and you can see its default value is true, so it's a boolean. Again, we are going to use the ref type, and it's ref, and it will be a boolean. So it's converted to TypeScript. Okay, but it's saying that, you can see we are getting a squiggly red line, cannot find name boolean. Did you mean boolean? Yeah, it's my typo mistake, I'm sorry for that. Boolean. Okay, that is done. Okay, next, this is search query, so it must be a string type. So we will again do the same way. We will use the ref here, ref type from Vue.js, and it will be a string. Okay, that is done. So in this way we can convert our all variables, our data types, our methods to strict types using TypeScript. Behind the scenes, I'm going to convert all these things to TypeScripts, because it will take a long time by doing one by one all the variables. So let's see you after converting all the variables to TypeScript. So I'm back. Behind the scenes, I have converted all the things in this file to TypeScript strict type checking. Okay, but you can see my npm run dev is running, and it's complaining to duplicate imports. Okay, I think we have to delete this old one, which was a JavaScript file, and we are converting it to TypeScript. So here is our index file where we are using this composable. So let's rename it to ts. That is done. So let's move to our ts file. Let me show you what I have changed here. You can see that filtered modules computed property is now strictly typed that it must be an array of modules, and it's using our interface module here. Simply we have passed the parameter of module interface here as a parameter to the filter function. So you can see it's all now strictly typed. You can see that show snack bar is now text having string, but for color we have used nothing. The reason is that it's already a string type. Okay, so here is our fetch module function method in Vue.js, which is asynchronous function, and behind the scenes it returns a promise. So we have defined that as well in TypeScript, and it's necessary for here that we are returning a promise. Okay, and this function is returning nothing, so we have used void here. Okay, simply next, if we want to ignore any warning from TypeScript, then we use this ts ignore statement at the top of that line. It was giving me warning, like let's suppose I remove it from here. It was saying something about this cannot find name $API. To ignore that, I have used this ts ignore statement. So let's move on. Here we have error, and I have defined its type as any. Type can be error can be of any type. Okay, next we have open add dialog. It's returning nothing, so its type is void here. Similarly, open edit dialog is expecting an module item, which will be again our interface, and it's returning nothing, so we use void. So void again here for the close dialog. And in similar way, we are using save module to save our changes in our module. We are passing the form data here, and we have used partial from TypeScript here, because because it will not contain all the things from a module, like id, name, string, name, or value, etc. So it's a partial type of interface module. Again, it's returning a promise behind the scenes, so we have used promise here, and it's returning nothing, so its type is void here. Similarly, let me show you again. I have used here ts ignore statement. Here the catch error type is again any. So all the normal things, module item is again type of interface. Okay, that's all for this. So we have successfully converted our js file to ts, and then we call that TypeScript file in our main index.vue.